from European perspective, it's very different from how we think of NATO and Russia in sort of more the black and white lines. But so, if I understand it correctly, Turkey wouldn't want Russia to succeed in Ukraine because that would make Russia stronger, and Turkey doesn't want that. But at the same time, it doesn't want to push against Russia so hard because it's perhaps afraid of a counter reaction from Russia towards itself. Is that correct?
You put it really well. I think Turkey doesn't want to be kind of at the spearhead of NATO targeting Russia, because it feels like if it does that, it's going to bear the brunt of it, especially given that U.S.-Turkish ties are not as strong as they used to be. Turkey, for example, has been unable to buy F-35 fighter planes from U.S. The next generation fighter planes is trying to build its own as a result. So the trend line is that if Turkey feels like if it's alone against Russia, it doesn't push back. So that's probably why it hasn't joined the sanctions regime. But of course, it does not want to see Russia defeat Ukraine. This has a lot to do with Turkey's view of the Black Sea as a limited access sea. Among all the seas globally, the Black Sea is unique in the sense that non-coastal states cannot maintain large and permanent navies on it. This is mandated by the 1936 Montreux Treaty, signed in the Swiss city with the same name, which makes Turkey the gatekeeper of the Black Sea. As you know, access to Black Sea only goes through the Bosphorus, the Turkish Straits, and including the Dardanelles, of course. At the time, 1930s, again, great power competition, UK and France fearing the rise of Nazi Germany and that Turkey could ally with Nazi Germany, were really nice to Turkey. So they made Turkey the gatekeeper of the Black Sea, which means that Turkey can close the Black Sea if there is war to warring parties, which is what it has done. Russian Navy from the Baltic hasn't been able to sail into the Black Sea. So if the Russians are losing ships, which they are, they can't bring new ships in to become a naval threat to Ukraine. But also the treaty says that because it's limited access sea, only coastal states can maintain large and permanent navies on it. There are 6 coastal states, Georgia, Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania, Ukraine, and Russia. Of those 6 coastal states, only 2 have large navies, Turkey and Russia. So the Black Sea is a Turkish-Russian condominium. Russia is the historically superior power. It's a nuclear power. It has veto power at the U.S. Security Council. So it's in a different league than Turkey. And Turkey therefore sees all its Black Sea neighbors its best allies against Russia. That includes Ukraine. And Turkey will never allow Ukraine's occupation or annexation of its parts by Russia. Even if there's a ceasefire agreement, Turkey will, for example, treat Crimea, if it's occupied by Ukraine after ceasefire talks, as part of Ukraine going forward. And because Turkey sees not just Ukraine, but all Black Sea countries as allies, which will help Ankara balance off against Moscow. In fact, I would say, considering Turkey's many identities, the most successful integration has not been with Europe or Middle East in the Erdogan era, but with the Black Sea countries. Unfortunately, this is not a politically sexy area of the world. I never get invited to do interviews on Black Sea politics, but it's so important because this is where Turkey has integrated most with its neighbors. Right now, you can travel with an ID card from Turkey to Ukraine and Georgia and Moldova. And I'm sure if Romania and Bulgaria were not in the EU, the same would apply to those countries too. And also citizens of those countries can travel to Turkey with their ID cards. So you have the Black Sea Schengen, free travel zone, which is not the case for Turkey's relations with its European or Middle Eastern neighbors. And I think this has a lot to do with how Turkey sees Russia as a superior power and supports all other Black Sea countries. That includes Ukraine. And again, looking at this from the historic perspective, we discussed in this podcast how Russia basically destroyed the Ottoman Empire, and the Russians did this with help from Ukrainians, at the time known as Cossacks. The Ukrainians helped destroy Ottoman power on the Black Sea. Now, that historic ally that helped Russia kind of debilitate the Ottoman Empire and Turkish power has switched sides. Ukrainians are now with the Turks. So for the first time since, I guess, the times of Catherine the Great, Turkey has an ally north of the Black Sea. And that's the takeaway of Ukraine war. And I think that alliance is going to become even more deeply forged going forward. And so that changes the balance of power significantly. that Turkey can rely not only its other Black Sea neighbors, but also Ukraine going forward to balance off against Russia.
If you're enjoying this podcast, chances are that you like to know what's going on in the world of geopolitics. And if that's the case, you might want to sign up to my newsletter. There's a lot of news on geopolitics, but most of it just doesn't actually matter. It's just chasing headlines, emotions, and breaking news. What I want to do is to try to separate all this noise and find the signal. The stuff that actually does matter and will have consequences months and years down the line. And so in every edition, I pick out 3 things that do matter and explain why and what will be their future impact. You can find the link in the description, so check it out and sign up to stay informed.